Greetings to you, Crocodile Army. I've made a lot of videos on the topic of intolerance, but this one is a little bit different. I'm not talking about intolerance of other people this time. This is about both real and not so real food intolerance, and the pseudoscience beneath a lot of it. Interestingly, in many of the largest realms of pseudoscience, it seems to be conservatives that get the most caught up in it, like climate change denial and creationism. With food pseudoscience, though, it seems to be a somewhat more liberal phenomenon. Before we all congratulate ourselves on our skepticism, though, remember the words of the great James Randi. No matter how smart or well-educated you are, you can be deceived. When I started making YouTube videos in 2009, I'm not certain that I'd ever even heard the word gluten before. I've since learned that it's a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. Now suddenly a vast swath of the population is claiming to be gluten intolerant. There are certainly people who are gluten intolerant, and these people suffer from what is called celiac disease, which is more common now because of better diagnostic tools. It can be very reliably diagnosed by a doctor, but a lot of people who claim to be gluten intolerant are self-diagnosed. There seems to be a very recent epidemic among self-diagnosed upper-middle-class Caucasians on the West Coast and the Northeast United States, which seems highly suspicious given the genetically influenced nature of the disease. It also seems suspiciously demographically similar to anti-vax sentiment. To be clear, I have not seen data to confirm that. However, I would put money on it that there's some positive correlation between those two beliefs. Some segments of the food industry, of course, have been reinforcing these preferences, even if they think it's total nonsense, because they know they can sell gluten-free food items to people at a premium. Foods which would never contain gluten anyway are advertising themselves as gluten-free in the same way that most foods would advertise that they're free of various types of toxic substances. And so this perpetuates the belief that gluten is bad for you, creating more demand for their products. I doubt they would have the customer base to mass-produce these items without the large number of self-diagnosed gluten intolerance, but at least the silver lining here is that people who actually have celiac disease have more options available than they used to have. Many people who've sworn off gluten have done it because they say they're sure that it makes them feel healthier. They might be right, actually, but not for the reasons they think. There was a study done last year that clearly shows a placebo effect when it comes to gluten intolerance, which I linked in the info bar. Gluten-free food tends to be lower in calories than the food it replaces as well. It isn't going to make you any less hungry for the calories you're not eating, but if you want to find a really difficult-to-follow diet with a ton of food restrictions, instead of just getting off the couch for 20 minutes a day, then be my guest. Unfortunately, this just all fuels the general food alarmism that is becoming so popular these days, from GMOs to superfoods. Speaking of superfoods, even in my own home, I found a few interesting items on the food packaging. The box for these dates says that they're nature's power fruit, whatever that means. This gourmet chocolate bar lists superfood health benefits like detoxification, enhanced brain function, and general wellness. That claim of general wellness is about as convincing to me as a claim of thetan removal. Ultimately, of course, your food choices are your own, and we all have our reasons for eating what we eat. My main caution would be about falling for clever marketing that not only won't truly make you healthier, but will also restrict your food choices and culinary experiences. Use that same skepticism most of you have regarding religion, and make sure to apply it to this realm as well. Remember when debating people on the topic that who makes money on what isn't evidence of anything. Food fearmongers like the Food Babe, along with your favorite manufacturers of organic food and the barely regulated natural supplements industry are all willing to stretch the truth a great deal to get your business. So it needs to come back to the science of it to get to the truth. Anyone can profit on misinformation. Bon appetit!